Paul and Eddie Ndichu, some young Kenyans, are in the news a lot over the last few hours. And of course, it all started with that video that went viral. There are even some Kenyans who don't really understand what is going on. They don't even understand what the fuss is all about. To them, this is no big deal. But actually, it is. It is a very big deal. And it brings into focus one of the major problems we seem to have in Kenya today. And those who are familiar with this channel know that I usually say it as it is, without fear or favor. And I can tell you there is a lot for us to pay attention to in this Ndichu brothers incident. I believe our show today is very entertaining and very informative. I am sure we're all going to learn a lot because this life is all about learning. And the more you learn, not from books, but sometimes from books also, the more you learn, the better the quality of your life going forward. Karibu sana. You know, in this life, things can change very suddenly and very quickly. Just last week, very few Kenyans knew who the Ndichu brothers were. Today, just a handful of days later, the names of Paul and Eddie Ndichu are on everybody's lips. And the issue of gender-based violence is right at the top of discussions happening and debate right across the country called Kenya. And it all started with a video that has gone viral. And although the incident is still under investigations, and right now all we have is that he said, she said, she did, he did, there is one clear fact we cannot run away from. Whatever the circumstances were, whatever really happened that night on Sunday, the truth is, this is a video of men, Kenyan men, behaving badly in front of ladies. That you cannot run away from. And in my opinion, it brings to focus, very sharp focus, one of the major issues, that Kenyans need to pay attention to. The behavior of Kenyan men. You know, these days, I don't hear people using the word gentleman. I guess it's because being a gentleman has gone out of fashion. Hiyo ilipitwa na wakati. How sad. And I even know for a fact that there are many taking in this video, maybe the vast majority, who have no idea what it means being a gentleman. True story. Hiyo ni nini, Chris? What does it even mean? I shouldn't be laughing, but that is the sad reality. I really need to say this before we come to the Ndichu brothers story. You see, this thing affects every facet of our lives. I'm sorry, we can't run away from it. For instance, Kenyans are about to go to the polls to elect the 5th president. And at least two out of the handful of major presidential candidates who may be the 5th president of Kenya beat their wives. They're serial gender-based violence offenders. And you'll even see a nice young Kenyan lady screaming at the top of her voice, "Yes, we want so-and-so as president. So-and-so must be president." Huh? The character of a man. Now you nice young lady, you want a man ambaye anachapa mke saa zile anajifeel. You want such a man to be the next occupant of State House? Are you serious? Are you even thinking about it? Chris, there's no link bwana. Wewe tuambie tu historia ya Ndichu, wachana na hiyo mambo yako nyingi. Kwani connection ya Ndichu na presidency ni nini? Wacha zako Chris. Okay, sawa, nitawachana naye. But allow me to give you a very sad statistic before we go into this Ndichu brothers story. It is said that 1 in every 3 women in the world will suffer violence in her lifetime. Yeah, gender-based violence. Nobody has done any research in Kenya, as far as I know. But according to what I see every day, and what I have seen in the long life Almighty God has blessed me with, this statistic in Kenya should be more like 2.5. 2.5 women in the country called Kenya are bound to suffer violence in the course of their lives. How sad is that? How sad. And of course, the culprit is that Nyangarika calling himself a man that lives in the country called Kenya. Shame on you, men of Kenya. Now, I heard somebody say that the Ndichu brothers video was no big deal. They didn't see anybody getting hit. Of course, what this kind of people mean is that there's no issue, there's no problem at all. Being involved in a scuffle with a woman, it's not a big issue. After all, a woman is like a man, according to these people. Equal rights and therefore equal strengths. Yeah. You having a scuffle with some guys at the local is not different from you having a scuffle with some women. Dunia imeharibika ile mbaya. Oh, and I can tell you categorically, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. You know, that video very clearly tells us that the people involved must have a history. A history of how they handle and how they treat women who are not their mothers or their sisters. When in actual fact, what every man should do is treat a lady exactly the same, with the same respect, with the same understanding, with the same tolerance as you treat your mother or your sister. Because it is true, women are not angels, but that's not the issue here. And quite understandably so, this video has brought into sharp focus the reason, the possible reason, that caused the divorce between Eddie Ndichu and former Citizen TV anchor Janet Mbugua. Why? Because the character of a man was brought out in plain sight on video for everybody to see for themselves. The character of that man. And not even a million press releases and statements trying to control the situation can change that very obvious fact. Now, sample this. Whatever the reason was for their divorce, yeah, it was personal, it was private. But now that this issue has come out into the public, now that the character of a man, the true character of a man, has spilled out into the public and affected others not close to that person, it has now become a matter of public interest and public concern. Yeah, that's what happens. And it's not me who makes the rules. And so Kenyans are asking, what caused that divorce? Was it gender-based violence? which is usually very closely linked to the other reason why people divorce, which is a partner being unfaithful to their lawfully wedded wife. Which brings us right back to the character of a man or the character of a woman. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm stretching it. Maybe I'm boring a lot of men with this thing Kumekucha always has of defending women and saying women should not be touched. What planet is this Kumekucha from? Maybe I'm guilty as charged, and that is why I must tell you a story, so that you're in a better position to judge me. When I was 5 years old, I remember the day as if it was yesterday. My political lecturer, my dad, came home enraged. I had never seen him like that before. And I never again saw him like that during his entire lifetime until he left us in 2011. He came into the compound. At that time we used to stay in a town called Kakamega. He came into the compound driving at very high speed. Emergency brakes. He got out of his car, and the only thing he asked me is, "Where's your mother?" I didn't even have time to respond, and he rushed to where she was and unleashed slaps. I had never seen him before lift a finger against her. And for years after that, whenever I went to sleep and I had a nightmare, usually it was a nightmare of somebody getting slapped. Many, many years later, I got to learn that there was another side to that story. But I'm not making any excuses for anybody. I strongly suspect that incident, which scarred my childhood, is what makes me get very upset when I see somebody raising a hand to hit a woman. It usually becomes personal to me, even if I don't know the people involved. In fact, in most instances, I have never known the people involved. But I always get enraged. And indeed, I can never have any respect for a man who hits a woman, let alone vote for them, let alone cheer them on a campaign trail. And it doesn't matter what the woman has done. Now, I'm also trying to be as sensitive as possible while making this video. I was even reluctant to do it, because I know the breakup of a relationship, a divorce, is a very painful thing for the woman, especially for the woman. If you're a man and you don't understand, I pray that one day you will understand. And obviously, a woman who comes out of this can never be the same person again. Never ever. And therefore, I have to say, Janet Mbugua is a very strong woman. I even have more respect for her after the character of the man has come out in that video that went viral. And maybe she has an advantage over others, because many people may not know this, but Janet Mbugua is a twin. She has a twin brother. His name is Timothy Mbugua. And I believe I'm an authority on twins, being married to one. You see, twins have a very strong bond, that can never be broken. If one twin is going through issues, even if the other one is 6,000 kilometers away at the other end of this planet, they will feel it. They will know that something is wrong. They will sense quite correctly that something is wrong. And therefore, even conversations and encouragements between the two are different. Because one will sense exactly what the other one feels, even if they're not the same gender. A twin sibling, in most instances, can be a pillar to lean on, when things are not going okay. And we have in this situation a twin who got married to another twin. And twins, on the other end of the scale, can also be of one mind in character, which is what appears to have happened in this instance of this video. Now, fascinatingly, although the Ndichu twins have been on social media, they have managed to keep a lot of information away from the public about their private lives. Very little is known about them. And it is the past of a man that helps you determine the character of that man. And to make it even more difficult, Ndichu has been a banker, on the digital side of things, or remote banking as it's called. But something that happened in 2014 is very instructive. It is said that Eddie got a new job opportunity that he was very excited about. And he even went ahead and signed some contracts while he was still an employee with the Standard Chartered Bank. And somehow his employer found out. And this is what caused him to have to leave the Standard Chartered Bank under very controversial circumstances. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with wanting to change jobs. Going for a better opportunity. But there are ways in which you must behave in the process. There is usually a contract you've already signed with your current employer. Now, very important, what are the take-home lessons here? Because some people believe that life is a journey to where they will be a success, where they're going to show their neighbors what they're made of. Show all those people who derive them that they're great. Some people think that. But actually, life is a journey. And continues to be a journey even after you're successful. And every minute and every second of the journey itself is very important. More important than even the destination, because it will inform your destination. And sometimes your behavior along the journey can affect you somewhere down the road and completely derail you from your destined success. Like in this instance, we're told that there's a likelihood that some investors in the business that Paul and Eddie Ndichu are running may actually withdraw as a result of this incident. It goes without saying that people may not want to be associated with people whose characters are being discussed in public, and negatively so. Bottom line, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey right now. What really matters is what you're doing right now, how you're behaving right now, even when nobody's looking. Which leads us to the very important lesson here, and it is the following. Your character will always catch up with you. And sometimes even in a very unfair way. Because maybe the twins were trying to do some good in this instance. Let's just assume. But still, the whole thing blows up. And it starts exposing you and your past. The other big take home for me here is, as a man, you must be a real man and you must be a gentleman at all times, even when you're drunk. The way you handle a woman should never be the same as the way you handle a fellow man. Be a gentleman. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But let me just give you a quick example. It should never be an eye for an eye when you're dealing with a woman. And this happens a lot when it is your wife involved. Your wife cannot develop more feelings and treat you in that manner. And then you also develop your own more feelings. No, you're a man. Your wife screams at you, for instance, and tells you because of that smile you gave to that girl somewhere, the girl who was selling chips. Leo haupati, utakaa hivyo. Kwa hivyo lala mapema. Hakuna kitu inafanyika leo. Yeah, for example. And then you get very worked up because you know you're innocent. And you slap her. Or you ask for things by force. No, that's not how a man behaves. A man is not supposed to behave the same as a woman. There is supposed to be a huge difference as ordained by Almighty God. The right reaction, and I've been in that situation many times. The right reaction is you remain cool and you know your wife. You know which buttons to touch. Yeah, you know what words to tell her. Genuine ones. Come on, do I need to spell it out for you? The work of a man is to melt her. Many times your response will affect her emotions a few minutes later. If, for instance, you remain cool and you apologize and pretend it doesn't matter to you, you don't care whether utapata ama hautapata. Yeah, but you still love her. You still care for her. And she is more than that to you. In many instances, you'll find that a few minutes later, an hour later, she'll just melt. And she'll even approach you and tell you, I've forgiven you. Nimekusamehe. Lakini usifanye tena. I think I should start doing videos on this channel on how to be a real man and how a real man should behave at all times. Because I believe that is a major crisis we have. And this latest controversy has brought it out into the open more than anything else has done in recent times. Now, I want to refer you to a video I did some time back that is very instructive. I highly recommend it. You can see a link on the top right hand corner of your screens right now. Click on it and go to it and watch it. And learn. Because in this journey we must learn and continue to learn all the time. Yeah. Our lives and the quality of our lives depends very heavily on learning. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.